The galactic research vessel Zenith hovered silently above Earth's atmosphere, its crystalline hull refracting sunlight in prismatic patterns. Commander Virx, a towering figure with iridescent scales and multifaceted eyes, studied the holographic displays with growing disappointment. "Another primitive species," she sighed, her translated thoughts echoing through the ship's neural network. "Barely Category 3 on the galactic development scale." The research team's initial scans had revealed a species that seemed remarkably vulnerable. No natural armor, no backup organs, no heightened sensory capabilities. Just soft, exposed flesh and a peculiarly large brain that consumed an inefficient amount of energy. Permission to begin specimen collection. Senior researcher Zilax inquired, his tendrils rippling with scientific curiosity. "The Council requires thorough documentation of all sentient species in this sector." Commander Virx authorized the mission, dispatching 3 research pods to different locations on the planet's surface. Their stealth technology made them invisible to Earth's primitive detection systems, or so they believed. The first sign that they had grievously miscalculated came from Research Pod Alpha. They had selected a human female, designated Subject 274, who appeared particularly fragile even by human standards. The extraction should have been routine, a quick teleportation beam, some basic tests, and return to the surface with modified memories. Instead, the moment the beam activated, Subject 274, whose name was Isabella Martinez, reacted with stunning speed. She'd have been jogging through a remote forest trail when the beam caught her, but rather than freezing in terror like most primitive species, she immediately dropped and rolled, somehow disrupting the beam's containment field. "Impossible," Xilax muttered, his tendrils twisting in confusion. "The containment field operates on quantum-locked parameters. No Category 3 species should even be able to perceive it, let alone resist it." But Isabella wasn't finished surprising them. As the beam fluctuated, she sprinted toward a nearby cliff edge. The research team watched in horror as she deliberately leaped off, tucking into a roll as she hit the water 30 meters below. "Emergency retrieval," Commander Virx ordered, but their sensors had already lost her. Somehow, she had survived the impact and swam to a position their instruments couldn't penetrate. Similar scenarios played out with the other research pods. Subject 275, a male they later identified as James Chen, responded to the extraction attempt by deliberately causing a minor vehicle accident, creating enough chaos and witnesses to force the pod to retreat. Subject 276, Reg Patel, simply smiled directly at the cloaked pod and walked into a crowded subway station, disappearing among hundreds of neural signatures that their sensors couldn't differentiate. "This doesn't make sense," Commander Virx hissed, her scales shifting from iridescent blue to a troubled gray. Their physical scans show no special capabilities. No enhanced neural pathways, no advanced sensory organs. They should be easy to contain. But as they compiled the data from their failed extraction attempts, a disturbing pattern emerged. The humans weren't surviving through superior physical attributes. They were adapting, improvising, using their environment and their supposedly inefficient brains in ways the Galactic Council's classification system had never anticipated. "Commander," Xilax called out, his voice trembling with excitement and fear. "You need to see these cellular scans." When Subject 274 hit the water, her body should have shattered. Instead, her muscle fibers actually reconfigured themselves mid-impact. And her neural patterns, they're not simple at all. They're incredibly complex, constantly forming new connections, rewiring themselves in real time. Commander Virix stared at the data in silence. The Council had classified humans as Category 3 based on their obvious physical limitations. But watching these fragile beings adapt and overcome supposed impossibilities, she realized they had made a fundamental error. They had been measuring the wrong things entirely. "Recall all research pods," she ordered finally, "and prepare priority communication to the Council. We need to completely revise our understanding of what makes a species advanced. These humans, they're not primitive at all. They're something entirely new." As the Zenith prepared to retreat, their sensors detected something else: encrypted communications spreading across the globe, coordinating responses to their presence. Somehow, despite their supposedly primitive technology, the humans had not only detected them, but were organizing a coordinated response. Commander Virix felt a sensation she hadn't experienced in centuries: fear. They had come to study what they thought was a vulnerable species, only to discover they had awakened something far more formidable than they could have imagined. The Galactic Council's emergency session buzzed with nervous energy as Commander Virix's report echoed through the crystalline chamber. Representatives from 1,000 worlds shifted uncomfortably in their environmental pods, processing the implications of humanity's unexpected capabilities. Most disturbing, rumbled High Counselor Nix, his massive form rippling with bioluminescent patterns of concern. "But perhaps these are isolated incidents. We need more data." That's when Dr. Kira Patel strode into their supposedly impenetrable chamber. The human woman's appearance caused immediate chaos. Security fields snapped into place, weapons materialized, and several council members retreated into protective stasis. But Kira simply stood there, hands raised, showing no sign of fear despite being surrounded by the most advanced defensive systems in the galaxy. "You've been watching us," she stated calmly, her voice automatically translated by the chamber's systems. "We've been watching you back. And I think it's time we had an honest conversation about evolution." Before anyone could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. Somehow, dozens of humans had appeared simultaneously across the facility, not through any detectable transportation technology, but through methods that defied the Council's understanding of physics. "Impossible," whispered Commander Virix. "Our shields are impressive." Cuba nodded. "But you designed them to stop things you understand. We've learned to work with what you don't see." She gestured to her colleague, Dr. Marcus Wong, who had seemingly materialized beside a quantum computer terminal. His fingers flew across the alien interface as if he'd been using it his entire life. "Your species measures advancement by technological achievement," he explained. "We measure it by adaptability." The Council watched in astonishment as Marcus's neural patterns displayed on their monitoring systems. His brain was literally rewiring itself in real time, forming new connections to understand and operate their technology. "When we're injured, we don't just heal, we improve," Kira continued. "When we face obstacles, we don't just overcome them, we evolve. Every challenge you present becomes a catalyst for our growth." To demonstrate, she pulled up historical data from Earth. Images flashed across the chamber's displays. Humans surviving in extreme environments, recovering from devastating injuries, learning complex skills at rates that should have been biologically impossible. "Your initial assessment wasn't entirely wrong," Marcus added. "We are fragile in a purely physical sense. But that fragility forced us to develop something far more valuable: unlimited adaptability." High Counselor Nix's bioluminescence shifted to patterns indicating deep thought. "You've violated our most secure facility just to tell us this." "No," Kira smiled. We're here because your next step was going to be quarantine. You were planning to isolate Earth until you could understand us better. We're here to show you why that would be a mistake for both our species." She nodded to Marcus, who displayed new data, research that combined human adaptability with Galactic Council technology. The potential applications were staggering. "We don't want conflict," Kira concluded, "but we won't be contained. Instead, we're offering partnership. Your wisdom and technology, combined with our ability to constantly evolve and adapt, could transform both our civilizations." The chamber fell silent as the council processed this proposal. They had come expecting to find a primitive species to study. Instead, they had discovered beings who could breach their defenses, master their technology, and propose a future they had never imagined. Commander Varix's scales shifted to a deep purple of revelation. She finally understood. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their ability to survive damage, but in their ability to turn every challenge into an opportunity for growth. They weren't just adapting to survive, they were evolving to thrive. The future of both species hung in the balance as the Council prepared to vote on humanity's proposal. But one thing was already clear: they would never underestimate these remarkable beings again. The discovery of humanity's true nature sent shockwaves through galactic society. But it was aboard the research vessel Helios where the most startling revelation occurred. Lieutenant Wren watched the human test subject through quantum-reinforced barriers. Unlike previous subjects, Thomas Blackwood had volunteered for the research program, curious about alien science. His calm demeanor unnerved the alien scientists. Humans weren't supposed to be this comfortable in captivity. "Begin the cellular stress test," ordered Chief Scientist Mira, her crystalline form glowing with anticipation. The chamber filled with radiation that would devastate most species' cellular structure. Thomas didn't just survive, he thrived. His cells began rapidly adapting to the radiation, using it to strengthen their molecular bonds. The scientists watched in amazement as his DNA restructured itself, incorporating the radiation's energy pattern. "Fascinating," Thomas remarked, studying his own readings. "Our bodies don't just resist damage, they learn from it. Each challenge makes us stronger in ways we never imagined." But the true revelation came during the neural mapping experiment. As they attempted to chart Thomas's brain patterns, they discovered something extraordinary. His consciousness wasn't confined to his physical brain. Somehow, human awareness existed in a quantum state, allowing their minds to expand beyond conventional neural limitations. "You've been looking for physical evidence of our capabilities," Thomas explained, "but our strength exists in the spaces between what you can measure. Every human has this potential. We just express it differently." The research team watched in awe as Thomas demonstrated abilities they had dismissed as impossible. He could process information faster than their quantum computers, adapt to any environment they created, and even communicate directly with their ship's AI in ways their own species couldn't. "We evolved not by becoming invulnerable," he continued, "but by turning vulnerability into versatility. Our bodies break but rebuild stronger. Our minds face limits only to transcend them." Lieutenant Wren's report to the Galactic Council that evening was clear. Humanity wasn't just another species to study. They were a glimpse into evolution's next frontier. Their primitive status had been their greatest protection, allowing them to develop unprecedented abilities while the galaxy's attention was focused elsewhere. As the Council debated this new information, Thomas and other human volunteers continued revealing more capabilities. Each test designed to probe their weaknesses instead unveiled new strengths. The galaxy's understanding of consciousness, adaptation, and evolution would never be the same. The question was no longer whether humans were advanced enough to join galactic society, but whether galactic society was ready for what humans would teach them about the true nature of advancement. Humanity's remarkable abilities faced their greatest test when the Drachnid Empire, a militant species from the Outer Rim, launched a surprise attack on Earth. They had observed the humans' rising influence in galactic affairs with growing concern. Admiral Viktor Petrov stood on the bridge of Earth's first hybrid warship, the Phoenix, integrating human intuition with alien technology. As Drachnid warships descended through Earth's atmosphere, they expected an easy victory against a physically weaker species. Instead, they encountered humanity's full potential unleashed. Human pilots demonstrated impossible reflexes, their neural patterns accelerating beyond known limits. Earth's defenders didn't just fight back. They evolved their tactics mid-battle, each engagement teaching them to be more effective against Drachnid technology. The Phoenix, under Victor's command, demonstrated why humans had become the galaxy's most unpredictable force. When Drachnid weapons critically damaged the ship, the human crew interfaced directly with its systems, their consciousness merging with the vessel itself. The Phoenix regenerated, its human-alien hybrid technology adapting just like human tissue. The tide turned when Maria Santos, leading Earth's scientific division, decoded the Drachnids' quantum communications faster than their own encryption AI. What began as an invasion became a devastating defeat for the Empire, forcing them to reconsider everything they thought they knew about warfare and evolution. In the aftermath of the Drachnid defeat, the Galactic Council convened its most significant session in millennia. The revelation of humanity's true capabilities had fundamentally altered the cosmic order. The Council watched in amazement as human representatives demonstrated their species' ultimate potential, not just physical regeneration or neural adaptation, but the ability to evolve consciousness itself. Humans weren't just another spacefaring race, they were evolution's answer to the universe's greatest challenges. Dr. Ravi Kapoor, Earth's chief xenobiologist, explained how humanity's seeming weaknesses had driven their greatest advances. Our fragility forced us to become adaptable, he explained. Our limited lifespan taught us to make every moment count. Our vulnerability made us innovative. The Drachnid Empire's defeat led to a new era of galactic cooperation. Other species began studying human adaptability, while humans learned from the accumulated wisdom of ancient civilizations. Together, they pushed the boundaries of what was possible. As the story spread across the galaxy, a new understanding emerged. True strength wasn't about being invulnerable, but about turning every weakness into an opportunity for growth. Humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy wasn't their regenerative abilities or neural adaptation, but their demonstration that evolution never truly ends. It just keeps finding new ways to surprise us.